For to top it! Doncaster Rovers have done it!
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan, and welcome to another DRFC Daily Reports, bringing you the latest news from Doncaster Rovers Football Club. Today, we have some news from the football world as we have early transfer news, potential transfer news for Doncaster Rovers, as York City's youth team captain Jonny Haase, who is a left back, is rumoured to be moving to Doncaster, along with other clubs being in for him as well. Now, before we get started, please do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video, and for now, let's get into this one. So this all stemmed from a tweet, an exclusive tweet from freelance sports journalist Adam Sopf. So York City youth team captain Jonny Haase is apparently attracting interest from a number of clubs, including Bradford City, Doncaster Rovers, Chesterfield and Sunderland. His contract is up in the summer. Now, obviously, this is a very interesting story. I think this is a very interesting potential move. Now, of course, in terms of what the guy can bring to the table, York City's official website actually officially describes him on the youth team profile as a promising left back with pace and stamina. And in fact, a friend of mine who's a York City fan actually messaged me when this news came out over the last couple of days and said he is worth £3 or £4 million. And he didn't mean 3-4 million Italian lira. No, he meant £3 or £4 million in a few years' time. So this guy's definitely got promise. And I've seen actually clips of him, one clip in fact, of him scoring whipping in a mean 30-yard free kick. So this guy's got potential. I can definitely say that for a fact as a youth guy. Now, obviously, it should be interesting to see where his future will lie. Like I said, his contract's up in the summer. You know, no disrespect to York City, but they're further down the English football pyramid. So if big clubs are in for him, it all depends really. Do York City want to keep him on a bigger contract, on a professional? Well, they've got his professional contract already, but do they want to keep him on a bigger contract, or they want to let him go to a club like Bradford, Chesterfield, Sunderland, Doncaster Rovers? So it should be interesting to see where this potential transfer lies. It does fit in also with McSheffrey's want of pace and stamina and youth next season. It definitely fits into that bracket, but let me talk through my thoughts on the potential transfer of Jonny Haase to Doncaster Rovers Football Club. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Jonny Haase to Rovers. Could it be a possibility? I have do's with it and I do have don'ts. The don'ts, I'm going to go through the don'ts first because I think that's only fair. The don'ts being, 18 years old, is it too much of a risk to have that as your starting left back, especially if you want Tommy Rowe playing further forward? In my opinion, I think Tommy Rowe's staying anyway, unless there's a U-turn or something happens over the next few months. But I believe, in my opinion, that as well as Tommy Rowe, and obviously Cameron John when he comes back if he signs a new contract, who else can play left back? You got Brendan Horton, who's out of contract as well. I think he's one of the more likely ones to get signed up. Cameron John, I want him to get signed up, but with his injury this season and how long he's been out, does he really want to stay at Rovers? I don't know. I'd like him to stay at Rovers personally, because Cameron John's a great guy. And he can play centre-back as well, which is more than needed. So I think John will probably stay, hopefully. So apart from John, Horton, who might get, in my opinion, I think Brandon will probably get loaned out next season. So you got Cameron John, you got Tommy Rowe can play in that position. Jonny Haase learns from Cam John, learns from Tommy Rowe, more importantly. I think you've got two great people to lead the development of Jonny Haase in that position, in my personal opinion. And you don't need to bring in a loanee after that either. You just bring in Jonny Haase, you've got Tommy Rowe can play in that position, Cameron John, sorted. For that left-back position anyway. So the don'ts really is he what we need right now? Do we need a development player, someone in the teens who can grow his ability? Obviously, it has its risks. That's why it's a don't as well as a do, in my opinion. I think it's the don't because, you know, do you need experience rather than youth right now to get you out of League Two? It's a mixture of both. The do's being, though, apparently he's an extremely talented player. And I've seen that with his mean 30-yard whipping free kick. He's definitely a good-looking player, a promising player, absolutely. You know, it's just a case of can we recruit him? His contract's up in the summer. Do we get him? I mean, if we get him on a free transfer this summer and we let him go in a few years' time for a few million quid, that's, you know, possibly pretty decent business, pretty decent long-term business. So, for me, I think it is a risk either way. But you know what? I like the look of Jonny Haase. I think he's a promising player down in its lower reaches. And to be perfectly honest, this is the modern day of football. You can get players from non-league football. They'll come up to the football league and do either really badly or really wonderfully. Jonny Haase is one of those people for me that I think could do really wonderfully in the football league. So, would I overall, as a summary, take it as a risk, or would I say go for it? Is it a risk or go for it? I'm going to go for it, because why not? He's 18 years old, promising future ahead of him. Let's be the club that develops Jonny Haase. Let's be the club that in a few years' time we can look back on selling him for a few million quid, 5, maybe even up to 10 million, if that was even realistic for our club's, you know, selling process. But definitely a few million. If we sold him on for a few million in a few years' time, we'll look back on this deal and think, mate, especially if the club goes back into League One or stays in League One or goes higher than League One, if we stay or go higher than League One in a few years' time, and one of the major factors in that was the development of Jonny Haase before selling him on, we'll look back on that deal and think, you know what, pretty smart business. But also, I want Jonny Haase, not that I want to sell him in a few years' time if he's that good, but especially if he helps move the club forward and up the pyramid over the next few years, I want Jonny Haase to be someone who stays at the club for a really long time. Obviously, you know, gone are the days of Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson and James Coppinger staying at the club for decades. But for me, I just feel like Jonny Haase could be that guy. Jonny Haase could be that person who stays with a club for a good long amount of time. Not because he's not good enough for the level up, but because he loves the club. We want him to embrace Doncaster if he comes here. So I think it's an interesting story. Like I said, take it with a pinch of salt for now. But I would say if an offer is in, be prepared this summer, because I think this could be a very decent looking transfer and a very underrated piece of business in my opinion. So I wouldn't look on it with the bad things and say, oh, he's an 18-year-old player, we need experience. I would look on this transfer like, you know what, we've got a pretty decent young player in this window, because he is the modern day fullback. That's how he's been described by York City fans, by rival fans, by journalists. He's the modern day fullback. I can definitely say that for a fact. So I'm personally happy if we get this deal done in the summer. If Gary McSheffrey is listening, I would definitely go ahead with this. If you're planning to get Jonny Haase over the line, I'd do it over the summer. I'd agree a pre-con. I would do it as soon as possible. I would go to York City tomorrow and I would say, can we put a pre-contract in place? We get him when his contract officially expires. I would do that as soon as possible because you've got yourselves a promising player there. But for now, guys, thank you very, very much for watching this video. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. And for now, I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan. Goodbye. Rovers till I die.